Shalom, praise to Yahweh, Hashem Yahshua, Hashem Barakah Kadash. The one to the apostles at GreatMillStone, ruling well. Yeah, so I've just pretty much Wikipedia, microchip implant, and I just thought, let me just read a bit of this and see what Esau, let's see what Esau says. I've read a bit of it, I haven't read it all. So it says, a surgeon implants British scientist Dr. Mark Gaffson in his left hand with an RFID microchip. Now, and that the first scripture that comes to mind is Revelations, man, 13. Just off that. A human microchip implant is typically identifying integrated circuit device, or RFID, transponded, encased in silicate glass, and implanted in the body of a human being. This type of subdermal implant usually contains a unique ID number that can be linked to information contained in an external database, such as personal identification, law enforcement, medical history, medications, allergies, and contact information. So all your information merged into one. This is on Wikipedia, and that's facts. Some people, you can't read Wikipedia. You got morons out there in the world. This is what the RFID is, and if somebody, who's the one administering these implants? Who's gonna have all your information? Would it not be the rulers of the society? The hidden hand, because there's a hidden hand of rulers. The first experiments with an RFID implant were carried out in 1998 by the British scientist Kevin Warwick. His implant was used to open doors, switch on lights, and cause verbal output within a building. After 9 days, the implant was removed and has since been out in the Science Museum. So, use it to open doors, switch on lights, so you can do a lot of things. Pretty much you can do anything. We're living in the age of the Internet of Things, where you're seeing everybody's got their phones out to do everything, to order taxis, apps, and to do everything, man. You know what I mean? Pay for things. You don't have to move. You can just use your app. You can work off your phone. You don't even have to move. So people are using their phones for everything. So even to pay for things to work. So you could just, if you put that technology into someone, then what? Then that's the Internet of Things, man. That's AI, digital, whatever you want to fucking 5G, whatever you want to term. It's really for people in the know, because if you're not in the know, then you're not going to see these things. You're just going to think, oh, it's just a chip. On 16th of March 2009, did I read that? British scientist Mark Gaffson had an advanced glass capsule RFID device surgically implanted into his left hand. In April 2010, Gaffson's team demonstrated how a computer virus could wirelessly infect his implant and then be transmitted onto other systems. Gaffson reasoned that with the implant technology, the separation between man and machine can become theoretical, because the technology can be perceived by the human as being part of their body. Because of this development in our understanding of what constitutes our body and its boundaries, he became credited as the first human infected by a computer virus. He has no plans to remove his implant. Now, there was some information that come out, how the chip scientists and all that, and if they mess about, then they fucking turn the mercury on or whatever to mess them up, and that shit, it can alter your brain waves. There's so many different ways it can get you, because it's merged into your body. They've got weapons, sonic weapons, and there's all types of technology can affect people. So if it's going to be in you, it's going to be affecting you even more, because it's in you. It's right in you, so they can do whatever they want. I mean, there's many. I'm not going into the depths of that. I'm not, all we know here at GreatMillStone, the scriptures tells you not to take that. This ain't no debate with Edomites about how, why, maybe the chip, the advancements of, all that crap, that's just out the window here. Matter of fact, let me get that before I move on. Revelations, and I'm going to read it quick and then I'll go back over it. Revelations 13, and anytime I talk about the mark, I always bring the scripture out, because it makes sense to bring it out. and Revelation 13:16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, say he that have the mark. So it's going to get to that level where they're going to administer a system where if you ain't RFID chips, you can't operate in the system. That's why they're talking about using it for opening doors and for pretty much everything, for your medical, for your ID. You know, then you gotta use this to buy. This is this is the new system of holding your records. And you can't say they can't do that, because if you want to operate in the system, you need a birth certificate, mate. They already got things in place that you have to abide by, or else you can't operate in the system. Now you got you got these Irish travellers and all that. A lot of them are rough as hell, and some of them dudes ain't even got no damn birth certificates, man. Them dudes are rough, rolling around, living wild style, off the grid, right? Several hobbyists have placed RFID microchip implants into their hands or had them inserted by others. Amal Grasta, author of the book RFID Toys, asked doctors to place implants in his hands in March 2005. A cosmetic surgeon used a scalpel to place a microchip in his left hand, and his family doctor injected a chip into his right hand using a veterinary avid injector kit. Grasta used the implants to access his home, open car doors, and to log onto his computer. With public interest growing in 2013, he launched biohacking company Dangerous Things and crowd-funded the world's first implantable NFC transponder in 2014. So he's chipped, basically. Let me turn up because it keeps going low. Just turn 1 sec. Right. So basically he's chipped, you know what I mean? Just to, get to the point, he's chipped. Mikey Sklar, the chip implanted in his left hand, and filmed the procedure. So you got all these dudes have been getting chipped. He's got all these dudes. Martin Vresmeers, Dutch market manager for Bitcoin AMT manufacturer General Bytes, placed RFID chips in both of his hands to store his Bitcoin private keys and business card. See how that Bitcoin merges with that mark? Because it's just basically about being cashless, but it's really about the chip. People are used to, through whether it be Bitcoin or whether it be through, using your bank card. People are used, or cashless. People are used to not using cash anyway. More and more nowadays. Biohacker in slabs. If he's Swedish, they ain't gonna like me saying it like that. But anyway, that's neither over there. Has been experimenting with NFC chip implants since 2015. During his talk at Escape VLE 2016 in Paris, Slablad discussed that he was also implanted himself between his forefinger and thumb and used it to unlock doors, make payments, and unlock his phone. Essentially, so you can make payments, so that's the proof there. So human microchipping is basically to use the Internet of Things. It's like the highest upgrade you can get. Just get a chip. You don't even need a phone, man. The way they're trying to set things up. Additionally, Slav has hosted several implant parties where interested individuals can also be implanted with a chip. Now they had that with the Baja Club in Spain. So you got a lot of rappers that are chipped and people of note. See, now this is where it goes into a few more things. I might do a part 2 on this actually and try and bring a lot of this out, because there's a lot of information. It's just a lot to read through. There's no point in reading all of it. Anyway, some Christian activists included Mark Dice. Mark Dice, come on, that dude, come on. Anyway, the author of the book, The Resistance Manifesto made a link between the positive idea and the biblical mark of the beast, prophesied to be a future requirement for buying and selling, and a key element of the Book of Revelation. Now you got a lot of insiders and stuff, and they come out and they said that that's what they wanted everyone to be chipped. Aaron Russo brought it out to the populace, because they try and sell it as a technical advancement. You can get let in on certain parties and things, and you can get upgraded in life, if you will. Gary Wolfsweb, president of these Last Days Ministry, has argued that out of all the technologies with potential to be the mark of the beast, Verochip has got the best possibility right now. So you got a lot of information on this. I mean, you can read this yourself. I just wanted to pick. I didn't really read it. I just read it now. Let me check this. In 2018, a Danish firm called Biochip released a new generation of microchip implant that is assumed to be readable from a distance and connect to the internet. The company also released an update for its microchip implant, which means it can use Ripple, one of the hottest virtual currencies right now, in order to pay for goods using only the implanted microchip. I think that's Bitcoin. So, you've seen this thing develop. Look, it says the Barjar Beach Club, a nightclub in Rotterdam, Netherlands, once used Verochip implants for identifying VIP guests. The epicenter in Stockholm, Sweden, is using RFID plants for employees to operate security doors. So there's a lot in this now. I might go back and pinpoint some of these, because there's a lot to go in this, to be honest. But I just thought I'd read through. So we're seeing the development of the RFID, Wikipedia, human implants. In 2017, Mike Miller, chief executive of the World Olympic Association, I remember when this happened, was widely reported as suggesting the use of such implants in athletes in an attempt to reduce problems in sports due to drug taking, so they can just have a chip in you and know if you're taking drugs or not. Tell me that ain't total control. I know if you're taking steroids or whatever. And then this is, put a chip in your foot to monitor HIV. So you telling me they're not going to push this? With all that, all they got to do is chip someone that can tell if they're doping, if they got AIDS, if they're this, if they're that. You can use it to pay. They can know who you are just from having a chip in there. All these documents, and then this and going to this and that. That will be done away with, because they're trying to centralize the power. So let me read the scripture again. Revelation 13:16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell, say he that had the mark. And look, the way to control the system is to control the buying and selling. If you can't buy fucking bread to eat or nothing like that, how are you going to be in that system? You're going to have to go off the grid. So that's what we're seeing there. So Esau's pushing it. Hard. And this year, next year, we're gonna see that chip coming. You're gonna start seeing them pushing it even harder, to the point where it's mandatory to get it. Like, if you don't get this chip, then you ain't part of the system. You might be a terrorist. Let's put you in a detention center. That's where they're trying to get it. That's why Revelations 20 talks about the souls of them that were beheaded for not taking the mark of the beast. Revelation 20:4. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given upon them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua, and for the word of the Most High, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither received his mark upon their foreheads. So this system, the beast system, which we're living in. And I remember when we went up to, was it NATO or the EU? It was either NATO, we went to the NATO building, and they would not allow us to take any pictures, So you talk about freedom to do. You ain't got no freedom out here, bro. You go somewhere, and when their rules apply, they can do what they want. I remember that, man. So Esau is going to do what he wants. It's all the sheeples that don't understand what we say. But the scripture, again, the scripture says, my sheep hear my voice, which is the righteous sheep, the followers of the Lord. All you goyams and you cattles, you fathers and all that. You're lost, man. All right. So with that, I'm going to say shalom.